Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good group so far. We're going to dive right in. I'm going to read from the app tonight. Hope you have yours. We're in part 2 on the app, question number 26, and you can follow along with me if you want to. What else does Christ's death redeem? Christ's death is the beginning of the redemption and renewal of every part of fallen creation as he powerfully directs all things for his own glory and creation's good. You click on the little button there and it says the scripture reference is Colossians 1:19 through 20. For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace by the blood of his cross. And so tonight we're going to look at what else did Christ redeem? And I'm going to look at two basic parts, all in life in general, and then we're going to look at the already and not yet. So let's start with the first. So what else did Christ redeem? The good news of the gospel is that not only are we in right standing with God because of what he did on the cross and the resurrection, not only are we justified in the presence of the Lord, that work has implications in the rest of our lives. It's a redemptive work. And I think it's in 2 Corinthians, Paul says it's the message of reconciliation. It's the coming back together of the way things should be, a reconciling. And you say, well, what do you mean? Just give a small example. We have teenagers that are part of our groups, and we're looking at the effects of the broken, sinful world on, let's say, our high school. You look through the halls of our high school and you see how students are being raised today, and some of the pains that they're experiencing at home, and you can see where just sin has wreaked havoc on a lot of homes. No judgment here by any means. I'm just saying that the brokenness of the world through addiction, through pursuits that aren't in the family affect kids. They affect students. They affect they have implications on them, and so a lot of students are growing up in situations where maybe a father's absent, and for sake of this illustration, let's just talk about that. Where there are homes where fathers aren't active, or they're not even present in some ways, how does that impact a student? Well, I mean, we may have some that are watching this right now. I don't know, but and you may know somebody that, well, the implications of that are horrendous. I think about myself. Dad left at 12. So what kind of impact does that leave on me? Well, it's super weighty, hurtful. A lot of things that I have to figure out on my own. It leaves a scar. It leaves a wound. So the good news of the gospel is that when Jesus intervenes, he just doesn't save my soul, but he offers redemption to me and reconciliation to me, in regards to a father wound in my case, and maybe and so you look at as our students and for our students as well. If somebody else has grown up in that situation, then you'll know what I'm talking about. The gospel gives us access to a redemption and reconciliation. So the fall has broken this piece. God offers redemption and restoration in the light of what has occurred in our lives, and so that's good news. I could take this in all of life, and you could put it in all kinds of different buckets. You could put it in the marriage bucket. You could put it in the parenting bucket. You could put it in broken relationship bucket. You could just so many different places. You could put it in the physical body bucket. I mean, you could put it in all kinds of buckets to where the sinfulness and the curse and the fall has broken and fractured different parts of our lives. And when gospel redemption comes into our heart, we have a promise, not only that are we in right standing with God, which is the beauty of the gospel, but in addition, there's also the word of reconciliation into all of life. And so we get that afforded to us. In addition, the second piece of what I wanted to say was, that is a promise for sure. And then we sit in the tension of the already and not yet. You say, what do you mean by already and not yet? Well, I can tell you that as growing up and the work that God's done in my heart, all right, I'm super grateful for all of the healing that He has brought into my life from where brokenness had scarred me. I'm grateful for what, however, I'm not whole. I'm not at a place where I'm still not still in need of some healing. There are still implications and times where the results of the brokenness and fall of this world still affect my thinking, affect my decision making, affect my emotions. And so I run to the Lord and ask Him for help. I'm in the already and not yet. I'm in this time of reckoning with my faith to believe that what Christ did on the cross and through the power of the resurrection is enough for me, but it's not complete. I'm not completely and fully restored. And so some of you maybe struggle at times with, I believe that God has healed me and set me free and helped me. But on some days, man, it's just tough. It's just hard for me to remember what He's done. It's hard for me to feel that He is reconciling me. And I want you to hear me say, we're in the already and not yet. It's not that God's. It isn't that God's not going to continue to bring full healing into that situation. It's not that God can't bring full healing into that situation. I'm thinking of maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's an issue at work, whatever it is. It's not that God can't bring full redemption into that. It's that we are living in the already and not yet. And so it requires that we walk by faith and not by sight while we are in this body. That's never going to change. That's never going to change. It doesn't mean that Christ somehow doesn't care about us. That's not what it means. It means that we are going to be in this fight of faith all the way up until the very end. I remember Paul saying this to Timothy. The time of my departure is at hand. I've finished my course. I've fought a good fight. I've kept the faith. What's he talking about? He's fought the fight of faith all the way to the very end. In the already and not yet, that's how it's going to be. Now, here's the good news, is that there's coming a day when you and I are going to be in the presence of the Lord. Maybe it's through death. Maybe it's through the rapture. Ever how God decides to do it. But He's going to bring, it's all going to be finished. This time on earth is going to be over. And we are going to be in the presence of God. And here's the good news. At that place and in that place, the fullness of what God has paid for will be in full fruition. Meaning, my soul's restored. My relationships are restored. The earth will be renewed and restored. I just left a little bit ago. David Griggs is up spraying the football field. Do you know why we have to spray for weeds? Because if you just let it go, weeds just come. Well, I'm looking forward to getting into glory, and weeds don't come anymore. On and on. I know it's a subtle thing, but on and on. Like all of redemption, like everything has been redeemed. All of creation has been redeemed. Jesus has paid for that, and one day we are going to be in that forever and ever and ever and ever. And I can't wait. So God bless you. Have a good conversation tonight. Really am just really praying for some of you who have some open-ended all of life stuff going on right now that you're believing for restoration. Look, I'm believing with you. Your community group is believing with you. And we're going to fight a good fight of faith because we believe Christ has paid for redemption in that situation. So we love you. God bless you. Talk to you soon.